Hello everyone, welcome to Music as a Journey. I'm Peter. Today I wanted to show some of the artists and their albums that I've been picking up over the last few months. And most of the artists, I guess by chance anyway, turned out to be either all-female bands or bands featuring female members. So I thought that because International Women's Day is coming up March 8th. I would try to do a video by March 8th where I would show off these artists. And then I actually decided to expand the video and include some other artists, some other groups in my collection, and try to be as internationally diverse as possible, meaning covering as many countries as I possibly could. However, I'm running behind schedule. There's just been way too much going on this week, and it's coming to the point where I realize I will not get this video up for International Women's Day, and I don't want to put it up 2 or 3 days after that and say, well, I was going to do it. So I'm just going to introduce these artists that I've picked up basically, I think, since November, December, up until the end of February, with the exception of one that came in the door the other day. So here we go. The first artist, this is a group called The Beaches. They are a band from Ontario, and I've scribbled down lots of notes which are not in the final ready for recording the video stage, so I'm going to consult these notes here. The Beaches formed in Toronto in 2013. They were originally a band called Done with Dolls, and one of the members left and a new member joined, and they changed the name to The Beaches then in 2013. Members include Jordan Miller, who is on vocals and bass, Kylie Miller, Jordan Miller, Kylie Miller, they're sisters. Kylie Miller, who is on guitars and backing vocals. Eliza Enman McDaniel, who is on drums, and Leandra Earl, who plays keyboards, guitars, and backing vocals. So they have released 2 albums so far and 4 EPs. This one here, this was actually 2 EPs. One was called Future Lovers, and the other EP was called The Professional. And they put these together into a single album, which is what I have here, a single CD album. And this was called The Professional Lovers Album. So this album here won them a Juno Award, that's Canada's top music award, won them a Juno Award in 2018 for Breakthrough Group of the Year, and their more recent album, Blame It On My Ex, I think is what it was called, got them a Juno Award in 2024 for Group of the Year. I also have a note here that they opened for the Rolling Stones on July 17th, 2024. They are described as alternative rock. Some songs have more of a rock feel. Some of them have a little bit more of a pop or pop rock feel. And there's one song in here, I think it's called Desmodina, track 2. It actually almost has like a disco rock feel to it. I quite like the song Bad Behavior, which has almost a Hives type of feel to it, I think. But there are a lot of cool tracks on here, and I really enjoyed this album. I would really like to get Blame It On My Ex, but I can't see it available on CD. It seems to be only download or vinyl, so who knows. But that's The Beaches. Very nice, good stuff. So next up we have The Warning. This is, again, this is 3 sisters this time, and they're from Mexico. The Warning, they formed in Monterrey in Mexico in 2013, and they are the Villarreal Velez. I wrote down the Villarreal, and it could be Velez or Volez. I'm not sure if I wrote that as an E or an O. That's terrible. Anyway, 3 sisters here. Daniela is guitar, vocals, and piano. Poliana is drums, vocals, and piano. And Alejandra is bass, backing vocals, and piano. Now, there's actually not really any piano on this album, but all 3 girls were trained in piano when they were very young, so presumably they play piano on some of their other albums. This is their most recent album, Keep Me Fed. I think it came out just last year in 2024. Interestingly, the mother and father of these sisters really liked playing the Rock Band video game. So from a very young age, the girls were exposed to rock music. And it started with Daniela and Paulina, the 2 older sisters there. They took up their respective instruments of guitar and drums. And then Alejandra, she picked up bass guitar from the age of 7. And so when they decided to form a band of their own at that time. Now, the Wikipedia page covers a lot of details of the steps of this band's success along the way, but one important thing was they did a cover of Metallica's Enter Sandman, and the video got something like 26 million views. That was in 2014, and even Kirk Hammett himself commented on that video. So because of the success of that video, they were then asked to write some songs and record some songs, and they have so far released 4 albums and 2 EPs. So this one here is the most recent release. They are described as rock or hard rock, but I find the production style on this album, the sound of the guitars seems to be treated or processed in a way more like a metal band. So rather than hearing like actual electric guitar chords, I feel it's more like different frequencies of pulses of distortion in a lot of tracks, which makes it sound more like a modern metal band rather than just a hard rock band. But they do have a lot of pop style melodies in there as well. The couple of tracks is almost a disco type beat, but they do get pretty dark and heavy at times too. So yeah, that's The Warning, Three Sisters from Mexico. So next up, this is a very recent one. This is Made of Ace. I only just found out about these ladies about a month or two ago. So Made of Ace, they're from Hastings, England. They played their first gig at a high school back in 2005, although their first album, this is actually their first album here, first album didn't come out until 2014. They have released 3 albums so far. They play punk. They're straight up punk rock band. And why Made of Ace? I wondered, Made, obviously, they're 4 women, but why is it Made of Ace? Well, when I opened it up and read all their names, it made sense. So reading off their names here. So these are 4 sisters. We have Alison Cara Elliott, Anna Coral Elliott, Amy Catherine Elliott, and Abby Charlotte Elliott. So all of them have the initials ACE. So that perfectly makes sense then to call it Made of Ace. I first saw a video of theirs called Bone Death, where death is spelt without the A. They are riding their bikes around town and doing all sorts of stunts, like driving off rails and doing jumps and all this stuff. So I thought, wow, these girls really rock out hard, and they're pretty good on a bike too. And another video, they're riding on skateboards. Another video, one of them's riding on horseback. Another video, they're playing football, meaning soccer. This is an English band, so I'm calling it football. Yeah, just a really cool band, and I wanted to get a hold of one of their albums, so this is their debut. And as I think I said, they've got 3 albums out so far. So yeah, really cool if you like your English punk rock. So next up we have the Soap Girls. This is a special Japanese release of their album In My Skin, even Japanese titled here, Watashi no Honto, which means the real me. These girls are actually French born, but they've grown up in South Africa. They're from Cape Town. A bit of background information here. Okay, so first of all, we have Noemi Debray, who goes by the name of Me, guitars and vocals, and Camille Debray, who just goes by the name of Meal, and she's bass and vocals. They have, according to the Wikipedia page, they had 1 female drummer before and a male drummer now. But basically, the 2 sisters are the act. They started out as young girls when they were 8, 9 years old, singing on the street while selling handmade soap for charity. And eventually, they got enough attention that they were asked to do some recordings. And one of their songs ended up on some compilation album in Japan even. And after that, Universal, a division of Universal in South Africa, asked them to record a pop album. So they did that. They did a pop album, but then they didn't want to stick with doing pop. They wanted to do something like dance pop. They wanted to do something different. They had a chance to go to New York. They were approached by some labels there, but they rejected them, and they decided to go indie. The type of music that they play, according to the 2 sisters, is revolt rock, and it is basically to tell society to go stuff itself, celebrate yourself as a unique individual, and don't let society tell you what kind of person you should be. I stumbled across one of their videos, which actually was a song, She Don't Wanna, which actually has a really nice, catchy pop-style melody, and it is not so revolt rock type as they say. But the girls are a little bit unusual in the video. And then I watched some of their other videos, and yeah, there are some pretty weird scenes in some of their videos, sometimes showing violence or suggestions of violence. The two girls are obviously very close as sisters, sometimes, really close, if you can kind of get my drift. And they also do a lot of exposing of their bodies. Sometimes it's got to be pixelated out so you don't see everything. Yeah, and in fact, one of the photos inside here of one of the sisters is also topless on the beach. Ain't you showing you that one? Anyway, that is the Soap Girls. Revolt Rock. So earlier on, I think their albums were more punky, more aggressive. There's some of their videos. There's, middle fingers coming up and a basically big F you to society. This album is the only one I was able to get a hold of here in Japan, and it has some of that aggressive punkiness at times, but there's also a new wave type of feel to some of the melodies, I think. Some of the guitar melodies or some of the music melodies, and a lot of the melodies of the vocal melodies are rather pop-like as well. So it's an interesting album. I would like to actually get a hold of one more of their albums. I'd like to hear, because I feel this is more like the more mainstream like album, and this is their fourth album. I'd like to hear one of their older ones where maybe it has a little bit more of that aggressive edge to it. But anyway, that's the Soap Girls. So next up, we're going to take a look at Stonefield. This is an Australian band that I first heard about thanks to Ben Rankins. He showed an album of theirs called Bent, which is their most recent album, and it's from 2018. And I really liked the artwork on the cover, but I was not able to find a CD copy out there anywhere. It seems, again, it's either vinyl or download. However, that was their fourth album, and they do have their first three albums are available on CD on eBay. So I was able to get a hold of their third album, Far From Earth. So here we go. Some facts about Stonefield. So these are the Finlay sisters. We have Amy on drums and vocals, and Amy is no longer Finlay. She's Amy Kavanagh because she married Michael Kavanagh of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. But Amy, she's the eldest, she's drums and vocals. Then we've got Hannah on guitar and vocals, Sarah keyboards and vocals, and Holly on bass. And Holly is the youngest. Holly, at the time they recorded their first EP, I think Holly was 12 years old or something like that. This is 70s inspired soulful rock, a lot of that kind of stoner rock feel to it without being too stoner. They can drop some really heavy riffs. They've also got a lot of, I guess, soulful feel to it. Straight up 70s rock. A lot of the bands that they are inspired by are these 70s rock bands. I feel at times I'm kind of reminded of the first Wolfmother album, if you know that one there, also an Australian band. So they started out in 2006 in Victoria. They were named Iota, that's with an H at the end, but they found out that there was another performing artist named Iota with a small I and big OTA, so they changed their name in 2010 to Stonefield and released their first EP. They have released 2 EPs and 4 albums. And yeah, I think that's about all I had. Actually, again, their Wikipedia page has lots of notes of different festivals they played and different successes they enjoyed. But anyway, this is a really cool album. I think I'm rather enjoying it. And I am going to try to get a hold of, I think it's their second album. Because Bent is just not available on CD. Anyway, that's Stonefield from Australia. So next up, at the end of December, I picked up 2 albums by the Donnas. I had actually never heard of the Donnas before, but I happened to see there's a channel called True Rock Stories, I think it's called, and I've watched some of his other videos. He does really good 15-20 minute documentaries on bands, and there was one video about the Donnas, so I thought, well, who are they? So I listened to it, watched the video, thought they sounded pretty cool. This is their 5th album, Spend the Night, and their 6th album, Gold Medal. They released 7 albums in total. And just some details about the Donnas. They formed in California in 1993 while they were still in high school. The members are Brett Anderson, vocals, Allison Robertson, guitars and backing vocals, Maya Ford, bass and backing vocals, and Terry Castellano, drums and backing vocals. And Terry Castellano left the band, I think it was around 2009, because she was having some serious shoulder troubles. Later on, she went to law school and is now working as an attorney. The band continued with a new drummer, but they broke up in 2012. So let's see here. Interesting fact was they released their first album while they were still in high school. So they took a week off their senior year to go tour in Japan. They started out as more of a punk rock or Riot Girl type of a band. But by the time we get up to Spend the Night and Gold Medal, it's a little bit more mainstream rock. Both really good albums, and I have seen the first two albums on Yahoo Auction. I'd really like to get them, but we can't go too crazy on spending the money this year. So I'm taking the chance that by the time I have the money to get them, they'll hopefully still be there. Anyway, that is the Donnas. Next on the list, this is the latest release by Phaser Days. And Phaser Days is one woman, Amelia Murray. Recording, it's just her. Well, I think there was a friend who did some help with the keyboards. So Amelia Murray is originally from Wellington in New Zealand. She moved to Auckland around, I guess, 2013, 2014 to be part of the Auckland music scene. However, I read an interview with her where she said that Auckland was having a real estate crisis at the time and rent was just super expensive. She rented one room. It was an attic, just one room attic room. She could barely fit a bed, a table, and her computer and recording equipment in there. Amelia Murray records all the bass, the guitar, and drum programming, and there's some keyboards. On this album, there are more keyboards. I think it was a friend of hers who did that. Well, maybe she's doing it by herself now too. She released an EP in 2014 of all her one-room apartment recordings. And then later on she released an album called Morning Rise, which had a song called Lucky Girl. That is how I got to know her. I did a search for Dream Pop on YouTube, and there were all these compilation videos, but one of the first individual artist videos that came up was Lucky Girl by Phaser Days. And I watched it and I thought that's exactly something I would want to listen to. So I did try to get a hold of her Morning Rise album, but for some reason when I tried to check out, it didn't work. But then her latest album, Soft Power, was being released, so I pre-ordered it, and it took almost 2 months before I finally got a copy of it. So here it is, and the one thing I like about this one here is that it includes 6 bonus tracks, which are actually her Break EP, which was released before this. So Phaser Days, she's got 2 albums, 2 EPs. It's described as dream pop, shoegaze, and indie rock. And she originally ran from 2014 to 2017. She had quite a bit of success with Morning Rise. She toured internationally, even going to Europe. But when she came back to Auckland, she felt all the people around her were really supporting Phaser Days, but they weren't really interested or caring about her as Amelia Murray. And she really felt that she needed to get away from it. So she took a break, which is why her EP was called Break. She took a break, or maybe just the pressure got to be too much and she had to break. Anyway, she split up with her boyfriend. She left Auckland. She moved to Christchurch. She had some time off, and in 2022, she released her Break EP. And then here, 2024, just last year, came out with the Soft Power album. So that's Phaser Days, Amelia Murray from New Zealand. And funny thing is, when I tried to search for Amelia Murray information on the internet, I found there was an Amelia Murray who played bass in an Australian band, and there was also an Amelia Murray singer from somewhere out in New York, I think. Anyway, Phaser Days. So coming to the end of it just about here, I mentioned this band recently. This is Chthonic, spelled C-H-T-H-O-N-I-C. This is actually a band from Taiwan. They are a metal band covering some different styles of metal, but basically on the extreme side. We've got the shouty vocals, the screechy shouty vocals, the growly vocals. But one thing I find really interesting about this band is that they include a lot of traditional Taiwanese and East Asian instruments in their music. The themes of their music is more about ancient Taiwan and Chinese mythology and some of the indigenous peoples to Taiwan. The reason why I'm mentioning them here for my International Women's Day kind of video is because bass player Doris Yee, she's been with the band since 1999. and she is also has been the spokesperson and business manager for the band since 2009. She's also married to Freddie Lim, who is the founding member of the band and the one member who's been with the band since the beginning. And Freddie Lim, interestingly, also became elected as a member of the Taiwanese parliament after the release of this album here, which is a Boutique, which is from 2013. So some recent interviews I've read with them, it's Freddie Lim and Doris Yi doing all the talking, and she has also appeared on the cover of some music magazines. So that is Thonic from Taiwan with Doris Yi on bass. And the last couple here, we come around to Japan. This is a band called The Tiger. The Tiger was formed in 2014, and I'm not really sure where, but 3 of the 4 members are from Aichi Prefecture, 1 is from Yamanashi Prefecture. So I don't know, maybe they met in Nagoya or someplace around there. Anyway, this person over here, she goes by the name of Rin, and she is the lead vocalist and guitar player in the band. This is their lead guitarist over here. And they play just a straight up guitar, bass, drums, vocals, rock. Slightly countrified in a place or two, bluesy in some places or two, but yeah, also quite soulful. Lin also has this voice which I feel goes really well for this style of guitar rock. There's some saxophone in a couple of tracks as well, and some organ too, but yeah, and also she does the bluesy side very well too. She doesn't have your typical Japanese pop singer type of voice. A little bit more of a thickness and soulfulness to her voice. That's really cool. So yeah, formed in 2014. Basically rock. This is their debut album, Get Ready, which I believe just came out last year. Can't really see the date, but yeah, all in Japanese, mind you. So that's The Tiger, and oh yeah, I guess I still have a couple more. I guess I'll do this one next. This is the one that just came in through the door. This is a band called 17 Years Old and Berlin Wall. 17 sai to Berlin no Kabe is the actual name. They are, again, a shoegaze type band. They have 2 or 3 EPs and 1 full-length album. And I actually forgot to check them out because I just decided at the last moment to mention them here. So let's see. Members. Eriko Takano. Yeah, that's right, yes. So she is the vocalist on here. So again, female vocals. And yeah, just this kind of almost close to dream pop shoegaze, like more. Still you get the flooding distortion sound, but lots of melodies, and some tracks have no distortion. One of the male members also does some of the singing on here as well. So this is an album called Abstract. And yeah, like I said, I think they have 1 or 2 other EPs and then 1 full-length album. Yeah, they have Abstract, Distance, Aspect are the 3 EPs, and Object is the full-length album. So I rather enjoy this one here, and I'm probably going to look at trying to get a hold of at least 1 other EP of theirs. The one I'm interested in the most is the one called Aspect, which is their very first one. But yeah, it's only available used and expensive, so who knows. Okay. And the last one then, because I'm talking about albums I picked up recently, this is my second purchase of a Canadian band called Always, featuring Molly Rankin on vocals here. Vocals, guitars, and fiddle. And Molly Rankin is the daughter of John Rankin, who was a member of the Rankin family, very successful Canadian East Coast band during the 1990s. John Rankin tragically passed away in a motor vehicle accident around 2005. But here's Molly Rankin, his daughter, playing in a band called Always. Actually, I think she is basically the leader of the band. And this is the second album of theirs I got. Again, alternative rock, but with the kind of more softer melodies. Not shoegaze exactly, but a little bit more than dream pop as well. So somewhere, if you got your shoegaze and your dream pop, I think Always is somewhere up here. Anyway, I've only listened to this album once since I got it because I've just been listening to so much stuff in preparation for these videos, but I like this album as well. And that's it. So all of these are either all-female bands or bands featuring women. And yeah, that was not as smooth as I wanted the video to be. And my voice is actually not so good today either. But there we go, some albums for International Women's Day. Maybe next year I'll do one with some of all these other bands that I wanted to talk about. But that's it. Thank you for watching then. Whew. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. Okay. See you in another video. Bye.